Bob Beck throws out the next topic for Representative Cheney.
School safety.
School safety is hugely important. I'm a mother of 5 children. When I see, as mothers across the country have seen what happened in places like Uvalde, our children need to be able to go to school, and we need to know that they're going to be safe when they go to school, and that's something we need to invest in.
Senator Bouchard.
You know, this is an issue I've talked a lot about. You know, we see one state that has taken the lead in this area, and that's Utah. Utah follows federal law, and they allow all citizens to carry in their schools that have a concealed carry permit. We don't see the problems in Utah, but we see them in these places that have strong gun-free zone policies.
Thank you, Senator Bouchard. Colonel Matt.
Being an instrument for 30 years, the first thing you do is security. And we've got to get serious about that. We can't do it tomorrow because the shooting will happen today. We can't wait. We need to harden our schools and some of our softer targets and ensure that within law that we've provided the safety for our children to go there. We got 2 grandkids. My first question is what happens when you walk in the front door of their school?
Thank you, Colonel. Ms. Hageman.
Hardening our schools is absolutely imperative, providing better security. We can do it, we know how to do it, and we're failing at that. The other thing is we've got to get rid of gun-free zones. We're creating absolute sitting ducks for the people in those areas. And it is wrong, and we've got to do better.
Thank you. Ms. Blinsky.
We have the safest schools in Wyoming. Actually, their glass is everywhere. There's check and balance systems when you walk in the door. It's really hard to get in and to actually even see your own child in some instances. We need to actually confront the criminal element. It is not the guns that are the problem, it's the criminals that are behind it.
Thank you, Ms. Blinsky. The next topic from Stephen Dow for Senator Bouchard.
Ukraine.
Well, that's a good question for me. We need to stop getting involved in everything that's in the rest of the world. Ukraine is corrupt. We started it. We got involved. We pushed them into being against the Russian government, and then we're not there to help them now. And we need to stay out of all this nation building.
Thank you, Colonel Matt.
So in my 30 years, my last 10 years, I served with NATO, UN, Special Operations Command, Unified Commands, and one thing that's important is we have to do it together. America does not need to be the police force for the entire world, nor do we need to put boots on the ground for every war that takes place. This could have been prevented in Ukraine with the elements of power for a nation, and diplomacy, and trade could have been instituted a lot earlier.
Thank you, Colonel. Ms. Hageman.
Putin would not have invaded Ukraine if President Trump was still the president. Energy security is national security, and the radical environmental policies that the Western world has been pursuing and adopting over the last 30 years has made all of us unsafe and all of us dependent upon dictators and tyrants like Putin.
Thank you very much. Ms. Blinsky.
Money laundering. I think that's the biggest ticket for Ukraine's and the Biden administration, everyone else that's involved with the Ukraine situation. And I don't believe, if America wasn't as weak as it is right now with the current administration, this would not have been a situation that we need to be dealing with.
Thank you. Representative Cheney.
It's the front line in the battle for freedom. We've got to ensure that Vladimir Putin does not benefit from the fact that he's conducted this war, and it's a tremendously positive thing that we now have Sweden and Finland joining NATO.
Thank you. The next lightning round topic from Steve Peck for Colonel Matt.
Coronavirus vaccine policy.
So coronavirus happened. I do believe it was made to kill people, and it made its way over to the United States and did just that. I lost my brother-in-law to COVID in August at 58 years old. We take it very seriously. In the military, we did our shots. When you raise your hand, you take your oath, you give up some rights, unless it's unethical or immoral or illegal.
Thank you. Ms. Hageman.
I think that Mr. Fauci is one of the most corrupt individuals in Washington, D.C., which is saying a lot. I think his vaccine policy has been terrible. I am absolutely opposed to vaccine mandates, and in fact filed one of the first lawsuits in the United States challenging such vaccine mandates because they violate the law and they violate the Constitution. I think that this administration has been a complete failure when it comes to the coronavirus vaccine.
Thank you, Ms. Hageman. Ms. Blinsky.
The coronavirus was actually, it's engineered to attack what we are susceptible to. It's been a sham, and we are to oppose any vaccines and any mandated situations that have been forced upon the American people.
Thank you, Ms. Linsky. Representative Cheney.
Everybody should get vaccinated. The federal government does not have the constitutional authority to impose a federal mandate, but everybody ought to get vaccinated, and we need to do everything we can to protect ourselves from future viruses like this one that clearly was unleashed by the Chinese Communist Party, by the government of China.
Thank you, Senator Bouchard.
You know, Fauci had awards for his work in cytokines. And cytokine was the biggest killer, not the virus, but the body's reaction. They knew, and they shut down everything that was out there that could stop people from dying, and they refused to tell people. It's a travesty.
Thank you, Senator. This will be the last lightning round topic thrown out from Bob Beck to Ms. Hagman. Excuse me.
Cryptocurrency.
I actually had the good fortune of visiting a Bitcoin mine last week in Gillette. So I am definitely learning about that. I think that it is something that we need to be exploring, but we want to keep the federal government out of it. We need to make sure that the SEC isn't involved. I think that this is another important states' rights issue.
Thank you. Ms. Linsky.
I too have actually been in touch with some folks about the Bitcoin mining out of Cheyenne, and just being able to utilize it in replacement of gold, because there's no way you can haul gold to the grocery store. So it's a way for us to actually be able to keep our income and not have it taken.
Thank you, Ms. Linsky. Representative Cheney.
I think cryptocurrency has some fascinating and important possible uses for the future. I think we need to be very careful, though, about the kinds of cryptocurrency we're seeing. For example, the government of China, it's a surveillance currency, and people need to understand what's happening with their data when they participate in and use cryptocurrency like the surveillance currency that the Chinese government
Thank you, Representative.
is.
Senator Bouchard.
Yeah, I would like the government to stay out of it. I think that's the biggest problem we have right now is that there's legislation even moving forward in Congress to make more regulations. I think, but we really need to talk about honest money. Our dollar's not even backed by gold anymore. We need to have more conversations about that.
Thank you, Colonel Matt.
And, you know, on that point also, it's a bigger picture of what does our world consider currency? What is important? At one point, you know, the dollar was it, and everything was based on the dollar rate in the world, backed by gold. And then it switched to oil as a means of measuring wealth for a country. And we need to take a look at where the cyber money fits in the process.
Thank you very much.